Hi, this is the Set Up Your Google Documents for LIB 101's final project and pretty much every week assignments. And I use very basic APA style notes. APA writing style is extremely comprehensive, sometimes having running heads, title page, abstracts, and things of that nature. For this particular course, I would like you to know how to do the margin, which is 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. I'd like to make sure you know to only use one of two fonts, that's Times New Roman or Arial. And the only font size you use will be 12 point. And I just want you to know how to do a basic heading to make sure that your things are flush left, that references are double spaced with a 0.5 hanging indent. And I think that covers a lot of what you need to know for this. Also, to make sure you're working with a true single space, which also occurs at times. Now, working with Google Docs as a Mac owner, I've done for several years, probably decades, but I love this help button. Right now, I understand you can move this margin around, but I really want to make sure that it's 1 by 1 by 1. So I go to help. There's nothing wrong with going to help, and I'm going to search margin. That's right. When you don't know something, the hanging indent or any of this, just go to the help. Now this goes to page setup, and that's it. Ah, look, I want the whole document to be portrait. We know it's 8.5 by 11, and I want my margins 1, 1, 1, 1 inch. So I'm ready to go. The next thing I want to make sure is I secure one font style. Pick Times New Roman or Arial. That's your choices in APA. I'm going to go with Times New Roman. You only have one font size, 12 point. In a way, APA is not that thrilling in its decision. So this point so far should be pretty easy. Now, let me stack up some other things for us to work on. Now, first of all, you will have a heading. Your heading will be single space for this project. Here, you can absolutely ask me, does this matter? Yes, yes it does. Page setup appearance matters a great deal. If you can think of it in no other way, it makes it easier to grade your paper, which speeds along your excellent grade. How about that? But yes, it does have a meaning. If you're turning things in for a publication, they ask for things to be in Arial, you turn it into Comic Sans or some other flexible looking kind of font, you might find your piece not read. That's the real world. Now in the academic world, it could cost you points and definitely cost you credibility. So let's make things kind of look right so it presents your materials in the best possible way. And this is not a waste of time. This is something you'll be called on to do throughout your academic journal. And when you're working on your doctorate, there will be some expectations that you make it look like the assignment directs you to do. In some cases, they will say use APA, but many times people will augment APA or other styles to fit their purposes. Now, it is your job to fit their purposes, and that's okay. So, in this case, this is my purposes, and it overlaps with APA. So, margin, correct. We want a single space part. I'm not sure. Oh, let's kind of lib 101, we'll say module 1 and bibliography in progress. Of course, this notation may pay. Then we'll have a thesis. Yes. And we'll have a keywords. Do you see how they're all in capitals? We're also about to make them individually something else, and we'll do scholarly article. We'll just do we'll do 2. Tomatoes could save the world. I'm going to just do something ridiculous, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to put in my keywords. Okay, as you see, I've filled something in that could look like the basic piece that may be assigned each week. Now, sometimes when I'm working with APA or other formats, I just tap everything in plain and then I go back and fix it. For these pieces, the heading is going to need to be in bold and single spaced. So our single space is holding. Now what if it's not and it's extra spaces? Go up here to Format and it has line and paragraph spacing. Look, I was wrong. I'm going to select single. So my default on Drive is also a little bit off, so make sure it is single. These are in caps and bold, caps and bold, all caps and bold, whoops, all caps and bold, all caps and bold. Now let's look at these pieces. These are going to be single spaced. I'm going to select my format, line spacing single, and I could also do this. If you do Control A, it highlights everything. I can go up to the format, line, and I'm going to add some double spaces, but for now, this is going to fix my whole thing. Also, when I copy and pasted some things in, see how this is light, so it's actually not black, so I need to change the font to make sure it is black. Let's see if I have something here. I want to make sure the size is Times New Roman 12, but I need to make sure these are also black. I'm going to go up here, and now everything's black. Now I'm going to go to the text. I'm using Times New Roman 12 point. So everything's sorted out right now, except for this should not be in bold, so I'll get rid of that so I can work with it. So usually documents, this Google Drive has a section. I can't get it to show. Hang on just a second. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. Right click, clear formatting. So if you have some format that's jumping out of your way, use that and that will fix it. So we have our heading, it's bold, it's single space. We have our other headings, all caps, all bold. Now we need to fix our references. References are going to be double spaced with a 0.5 hanging indent. So I'm going to go to Format Options, Indent, and I have Indent Options, hanging, and it's 0.5 apply. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and do line spacing and double, and that fixes that piece. Highlight, format, line spacing, double, format, align and indent, indentation options, hanging indent, 0.5, apply. So those are set up correctly. I'm going to see if I can get rid of this. At least I'll get rid of the line, and I'll turn it black. Alright, so remember, before you turn it in, do Control A, make sure it's all Times New Roman or Arial, all 12 point, make sure the bold parts are bold, that the single spots are single. Now, let's kind of work on these pieces here. As these are copy and pasted from ProQuest, that means they need to be corrected. So we have our author's last name, first initials as available, connected with an ampersand. We have our publication date. Now our title is not in the correct capitalization order. Nothing should be capitalized here except for, hey, just research. I've corrected the title. Now let's see if I can get rid of this underline. And it is so. Here I have 123. You use beginning and ending page numbers. If that's not available, take it back, end this with a period, and there you go. The DOI is always preferred to the URL. If you use a URL, make sure everyone can get to it. If not everyone can get to it, don't use it. Okay, let's check this out. I want to make sure this is also black. Yes, it is. Okay, so author, last name, first initial, publication date. Here we can see that it's not capitalized correctly. Nothing should be capitalized here except for A and American. I was a little wrong because there is a colon right here. So innovation is also capitalized. Remember, in APA style 7th edition, in the title, nothing is capitalized except for the first word, a word that follows a colon, and a proper noun or noun phrase. Business history review and 88 are italicized. That is correct. We have beginning and ending page numbers. Our issue number is in parentheses. This is beautiful. We're using our DOI. So this looks pretty fantastic, and that's how you would put together the very basic format that I'm using for this course. That is what I call APA adjacent, and in many cases some of the work you will be doing will be based on a citation form, so make sure you look at the directions in case they vary in some way. I hope this was helpful. I know it was 10 minutes, but if you have any questions, please reach out to me.